Holy Spirit, fill this room, the room of my consciousness. And the prayer is that you fill it with love. For I know that love heals, and love reveals the truth, regardless of the appearance that may be, regardless of the appearance of lack, regardless of the appearance of disease, regardless of whatever it may be. A sufficient amount of love can heal and reveal the truth. And that truth is that God is all that there is. And it's from this point that I speak my word. I speak my word blessing the service, knowing that the Spirit that is God expressing individually as each and every one of us, collectively expressing His love. I'm knowing that this power, this presence is present in our spiritual leader, Reverend Celeste Frazier, today as she delivers the Word of God, speaking in, through, and as her. I'm knowing that the presence and the love of God is present in each and every practitioner as they hold and know the truth about who and who you are. I'm knowing that that truth is the truth that is expressing itself as our board of trustees who allow themselves to conduct the business of the church from that higher consciousness of knowing that there is God and there is love. I'm knowing that that Spirit expresses itself as each and every person gathered here today. For this service is complete, for your energy, your uniqueness is what makes it so. I'm giving thanks for this service, knowing that the highest and best unfolds, and that all that needs to be said is said, and all that needs to be done is done. We simply bless it and let it be with an amen, ashe,
ashe,
and so it is.
So it is.
Holy Spirit, fill this room. Shekinah glory, sweet perfume. We need your presence. We need you. Holy Spirit, fill this room. Holy Spirit, fill this room. Shekinah glory, sweet perfume. We need your presence. We need you. Holy Spirit, fill this room. We need your presence. We need you. Holy Spirit, fill this room.
East Bay Women's Chorus. Good morning. My name is Al Gibson, and I'm a licensed practitioner here at East Bay Church of Religious Science. Licensed practitioners are individuals that offer prayer, and they offer to know the truth about who and whose you are, as the meditation suggested, regardless of what challenges you may be experiencing in life. They're available for prayer after church in our wonderful prayer room, and they can be identified by, Rebecca, you stand up today and be our model, by the purple stone around their neck. Thank you. And now we are going to embody our declaration of principles. They may or may not be found on the seat beneath you because we had an event last night and they were removed. If you need one, please raise your hand and the ushers will bring you one, and we'll pause for that time so we can say this together. Okay, and I invite you to just keep your hand raised until you receive one. Once you receive one, you can stand, and that way I know that everyone is ready for this wonderful experience. And let's just all take a collective breath while we're waiting for this process. Breathing in and breathing out. And one more breath, breathing in and breathing out. We believe in God, the living Spirit Almighty, one indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause. This one manifests itself in and through all creation, but is not absorbed by its creation. The manifest universe is the body of God. It is the logical, necessary outcome of the infinite self-knowingness of God. We believe in the individualization of the Spirit in us, and that all people are individualizations of the one Spirit. We believe in the eternality, the immortality, and the continuity of the individual soul forever and ever expanding. We believe that heaven is within us and that we experience it to the degree that we become conscious of it. We believe the ultimate goal of life to be a complete freedom from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be obtained by all. We believe in the unity of all life, and that the highest God and the innermost God is one God. We believe that God is personal to all who feel this indwelling presence. We believe in the direct revelation of truth through our intuitive and spiritual nature, and that anyone may become a revealer of truth who lives in close contact with the indwelling God. We believe that the universal Spirit, which is God, operates through a universal mind, which is the law of God, and that we are surrounded by this creative mind, which receives the direct impress of our thought and acts upon it. We believe in the healing of the sick through the power of this mind. We believe in the control of conditions through the power of this mind. We believe in eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of life to all. We believe in our own soul, our own spirit, and our own destiny, for we understand that the life of all is God, and so it is.
That was an explanation point, Pastor.
Think. All right. Good morning. My name is Reverend Celeste Frazier. I'm your spiritual leader here at the East Bay Church of Religious Science. It's my joy to welcome you here this morning. You are all beautiful. A couple of things I want to highlight in our Declaration of Principles, also known as what we believe. We believe in the individualization of the Spirit in us, and that all people are individualizations of the one Spirit. And the second part that I want to bring to our attention, which will come through the message this day, is that we believe in the unity of all life, and that the highest God and the innermost God is one God. So we're going to be with that today. Is there anyone here who is here for the very first time? Okay. Very good. Welcome home, everybody else. You already know that you're welcome here, that whatever packaging you came in with, whatever your mindset is, you are welcome here as an individualized expression of this one life. And so I want to invite us to greet each other with a smile, with a hug, with a handshake, just some way to let each other know that we're recognizing the presence of God as each other. Thank you.
I hold you in my heart. You are the family. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. You hold you in my heart. You are my family. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are my family. Yes, you are the face of God. You are the face of God. My heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are my family. You are the face of God. You are my family. You are the face of God. You are a part of me. the face of God.
Yes, you are the face of God. And as we find our ways back to our seats, I want to invite you to look at your neighbor's face. Turn to your neighbor on your left. Turn to your neighbor on your right. You are seeing the face of God. And so I'm going to invite Marlon the Eagles up for our community opportunities. There's so many ways to be involved with East Bay.
Thank you so much, brother. In case any first-time visitors came in, do go to our fellowship hall after service to receive your free CD, fill out the information sheet. We'd like to stay in touch with you. Thank you for your presence. Membership updates. Members and friends, please let us know if you have moved. We need your new address. And if we've never had your address, you are missing in our database. So please fill out the membership form for our system so that we can contact and support you. Thank you for your help in updating our records. Are you a member? Do you know what that means? Please stop by the membership table in our fellowship hall today, and Reverend Badia, will answer your questions about membership at East Bay. Young adults, 18 to 40, are having visiting today at 1 p.m. in the youth space behind this pulpit area. Join them in visiting for the enfoldment or unfoldment of their group. Youth and family ministry. If your child is in our youth program or would like them to participate, Reverend Celeste invites parents to join her Sunday, October the 27th at 1 p.m. in the youth space. Also, do join us for information and an entertaining climate presentation with Darlene Coldenhoven, who was trained by former Vice President Al Gore, who, as I recall, went on to be a renowned international environmentalist. Darlene is a Grammy Award-winning singer who will also entertain us with her music. She will reveal how the climate crisis globally impact planet Earth, what solutions we now have, and how we can be good stewards. 2 environmental groups will be here providing information about green jobs, renewable and solar energy. This is a free event to promote being service to planet Earth. Wellness with Sound and Voice Workshop, Sunday, October the 13th. Darlene Coldenhoven, as was mentioned, has a Grammy Award and 3 nominations. She is a credentialed sonic therapist, composer, songwriter, speaker, author, and an overall Renaissance woman. She is endorsed by Juilliard, Berkeley, and NYU and other renowned institutions of musical education. She has been in concert around the world, including being featured soloist in Yannick live at the Acropolis, seen by over 1.5 billion viewers. Darlene is to present here an inspiring and fun adventure. Her focus is on improving voice quality, deep breathing, and the benefits of singing. She will allow us to feel the healing vibration of crystal tuning fork and singing bowls. That sounds interesting. You will experience energy balancing, toning, and more. Be here on Sunday, October the 13th, from 1 to 3:30 p.m. The suggested donation is $25, but no one, of course, will be turned away. The Heart-Centered Workshop Series from Kepra Institute of Applied Metaphysics comes the Heart-Centered Living Series, a life-changing series on the magnificent power of your heart. Discover ways you can uncover and activate this astonishing hidden power, unlimited intelligence, and holographic awareness that is in you. The team has put together practical and useful knowledge of ancient wisdom and modern science to help you to use the power of the heart. The October 19th session is about living from the heart's intuitive intelligence. You need register before October the 12th at the price of $90 in order to have this experience. The class minimum is 8 students. Be here to explore your heart's wisdom. Tracy Brown, president of the Leadership Council for Centers for Spiritual Living, will be our featured guest at Wednesday's Healing Revealing service at 6:30 p.m. on October the 27th. Do come, and we'll amend that. It's October the 30th. That's Wednesday. Do come and be refreshed as we continue in the theme of cherishing the human family and embracing unity. The Fall Town Hall, on our Board of Trustees invite you to the Fall Town Hall on Sunday, November the 3rd, from 1 to 2:30 p.m. in our sanctuary. You will receive an update on current business affairs of the church. Your participation in our 2020 planning is requested. Needed are your ideas and passion for our next level of growth and expansion. Together, we realize greatness in spirit, in truth, and step into our greatness. Do attend. The prayer symposium. Practitioner Lynn Daniels will come forward to share information about our rapidly approaching 9th annual prayer symposium. All right.
Good morning, East Bay. My name is Lynn Daniels, and I'm going to talk to you about the Prayer Symposium. This is our 9th annual Prayer Symposium. Can you believe that we've done it for 9 years? Yes. And this year is going to be a very, very special prayer symposium. It is October 25th and October 26th. On the 25th, our very own Queen, Reverend Michelle Jordan, will do a concert. So you know that that's going to be just up there when Michelle gets behind the microphone or in front of the microphone. So she's going to be here with a prayer symposium choir made up of people from various New Thought churches and East Bay, of course. And then on Saturday, another one of our very own, Reverend Derica, is going to speak. Now, you all know that Reverend Derica, when she gets here, she brings it big time. So it's going to be really exciting to hear what she has to say about what she's been doing since the last time that we saw her. The topic is transformation. And I know that she has a lot to say about that. And in addition to Reverend Derica, we have James Weeks. We are so privileged to have him come and speak at our prayer symposium. He is a Yoruba priest, and he has a blog and a book called Across the King's River. It's available in our bookstore. And he's going to talk about what it means to be a Yoruba priest, about the rituals and what it can bring to your life, too. So, again, we are just so honored to have these two powerful speakers come and be with us. And then on top of that, we're going to have music. Vanessa Wynn, along with New Day, our East Bay band that includes Trevelyan Lee, Deb Santa Maria, Shazam, Isis Drumming Circle, are all going to be here on Saturday. So this is really a prayer symposium that you don't want to miss. October 25th for Queen Michelle and October 26th for our other powerful speakers. It's going to be a full and powerful day, and I have yet to miss one prayer symposium. So come and join us and just be uplifted and transformed and have a good time. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you for your attention. More information you can find in your bulletins.
Thank you, Marlon. Thank you, Lynn. Reverend Celeste, can you come up? We understand there's a special day coming up, and we wanted to acknowledge that. Reverend Celeste is celebrating her birthday. And your birthday exactly is? Let me let you touch.
My birthday is tomorrow, October 7th. And
Yes.
And I'm very pleased that
I'll be entering a new level of discounts. At 62.
And so we want to rock the house that we do East Bay style, singing happy birthday to you, Reverend Celeste.
Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy
And please remain standing as we outstretch our hands and confer a special birthday blessing on our spiritual leader, Reverend Celeste Frazier. And repeat after me. Reverend Celeste. Reverend Celeste. We see you. We see you. Thank you for being born. Thank you for being born. You are a unique, individualized expression of spirit. You are a unique, individualized expression of spirit. We love you. We love you. We appreciate you. We appreciate you. And we thank God for you. And we thank God for you. And we have our congregational song to extend some more love in the room.
I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. All day long, all day long. Yes, I did. Stayed on spirit all day long. I keep my mind. Yes, I do. Stayed on spirit, yeah. All day long, I keep my mind. Stayed on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. I'm walking and talking with my mind. Yes, I am. Staying on spirit. I'm walking and talking with my mind. Staying on spirit. Walking and talking with my mind. Staying on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Woke up this morning, I woke up this morning with my mind. Yes, I did. Stayed on spirit. Woke up this morning with my mind. Stayed on spirit. I woke up this morning with my mind. Stayed on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah,
Let's just all breathe that in, all the love in this room. Breathing in, breathing out. And so I present to you East Bay Women's Chorus.
Thank
So Reverend Celeste is wonderful in that she sends us the message, the directive, so that we can kind of sit with what the teaching is going to be. She sends it early enough so that we have an opportunity to kind of really sit with that and see what comes through insofar as the music. So this last time as Mark and I were looking at what it was that Reverend Celeste was going to bring, some New Thought music came to us. So we're presenting today 2 new songs that Mark and I have written. So support us. The New Thought Lexicon. Yes, yes, yes. We are bringing today Recognizing My Higher Self and Unity. All right, if you can catch on, especially the unity, join in. All right, here we go.
Okay, this is unity. Come on, get your dancing shoes on, y'all. Come on, church. This is about unity. This is about family. Come on, come on, come on. Put your hands together. Unity.
the East Bay Women's Chorus, under the direction of Miss Sharon Henderson, with Vino on drums, Tony on lead guitar, Lee Henderson on bass, the Women's Chorus with a solo by Pamela Nash. Yes, unity. Wow. I've been feeling the unity, particularly over the last couple of days. God in His infinite wisdom, God in its grace, continues to reveal itself to me and through me. Here's what Ernest Holmes says. He says, the infinite cannot be divided against itself. He says, all of it is present at any and every point within itself. It is not approaching a point nor receding from it, but it is always at the point. So there is never a time when we are not one with the one. There is never a time, even though we may not be paying attention to that. And so as we move into this theme of cherish the human family, we're embracing that unity principle. You know, we talk a lot about oneness, and yet we still have so much more to learn about oneness. We still have so much more to accept and embrace. We have many moments of separation in our minds. And that separation in our minds leads us to separate kinds of experiences. It leads us to separate kinds of an existence where we feel separate. And that doesn't mean it's true. It's just an emotional reaction to circumstances. And yet, in all of its unity, God is still saying to us, I am present. And it's saying to us, I am present by allowing us to simply see that even in the midst of a challenge, it's present. Even in the midst of what appears to be attack, there is God in the midst of it. And so there's so many different awakenings. I was sitting here, what just came through when they were singing unity was that the African American slaves, I think, were the first mystics in this country. Because when I thought about it, how are you being beaten, whipped, sold, killed, castrated, and still looking to heaven? How are you dealing with that kind of extreme condition and experience and calling forth the present, never doubting that it's here? And so, you know, we break a nail and we think God left us. You know, in our privilege. Yeah, we all have some degree of privilege. We all have some degree of privilege for those of us who can stand upright. You know, there's so much to be grateful for, and when we spend our energy and our focus on the grace of God, this is why we're able to know that we're supported. This is why the annual theme is anchored in love, unlimited by grace. We're not limited because grace is. I'm going to tell you more about that in a minute. I love that we have some wonderful songwriters within our congregation. Let's give Sharon and Mark some more love. Because even in that first song, recognizing my higher self, there was a way of us being able to say that there is a dimension within me that I am able to see, and not only see with my awareness, but to really be able to live into. That's what we are being invited to do every time we are engaged in a spiritual practice, live streamers. Every time we have a meditative time, whether it's for 3 hours, 10 minutes, half hour, whatever it may be, it's an opportunity for us to recognize our higher spirit. Even a 2-minute meditation is good for just taking that time to recognize the presence, the power of recognizing that presence that we get simply by acknowledging that it is here. There is always somewhere an illusion of attack. There is always somewhere an illusion that something is happening that is against us. There is always an illusion. I was afraid of that. Okay. Let me remove this. There is always the illusion that something is not the way we want it to be. And so part of the awakening that I've had this weekend is to really say, stop that, Celeste. Stop that, because in all of those moments that you have complained, there has been a missed opportunity for me to cherish. There's been a missed opportunity for me to cherish the good in someone when I'm focused on how they fell short of my expectations. I don't care if it's the president or it's somebody in my family, in whatever family that might be. Because I have my biological family, I have my church family, I have many different families to which I belong. And so even if I start complaining about stuff that happened before I was even incarnated in this dimension, I'm saying, wait a minute, there is an opportunity to cherish that somehow, regardless of all of that, I came from a people who were not destroyed. That includes the Blackfoot Indian, the Blackfoot natives that I came from, who so many of the tribes were decimated and crippled. And so many of the ancestral roots that I come from, including my Irish pedigree. My great-grandfather, my maternal great-grandfather, his name was Willie Kirk. He was an Irishman. I don't know what relationship he had with my great-grandmother. She was half African-American and half Blackfoot Indian. And so from all of those, the Irish, they didn't have a good time when they first got here either. So from all of my ancestry, I have somehow emerged. And so regardless of what their challenges were, that these different races of people have maintained a presence, have maintained an identity, and have maintained life energy to continue to propagate. And so we've always been safe at some level. And what is this? What is this flesh? It's a costume. It's what we are wearing for this particular dimension, for this terrain, right? So when people put on spacesuits, they need certain equipment for going into different elements, right? Not so much having oxygen, but having different kinds of gases going on and different kinds of environments, not conducive to what what this particular body temple was made for. So when you go out at the end of the month in your costume, you can be reminded that you're choosing to put on a persona. And some of us do that when we're code switching. Some of us do that when we go to work. Yes, well, I'm the professional right now. And then some of us do something else when we're at the party, right? And then some of us do something else when we at church, right? Hopefully. Yes. I'll talk more about that later too. But there's a harmony that cannot be denied. I love that the women were singing about that, because we were being with that too in the practitioner 2 training. We were being with that harmony. We were being with that awareness that even if you're not experiencing it in a particular relationship, that harmony still is. Or was that the foundation class? I think it was both. I don't know. But anyway, when you see the rising of the sun and the setting of the sun, yes, it was foundations class. The moon doesn't say, step back, sun, this is my time. It's like, let me fade in as the sun rises. The same thing with the ocean, the ebb and the flow. So we see evidence of harmony in nature, and we get to be educated by that aspect of our family that doesn't have legs, that doesn't have arms, that we don't know what the eyes of the ocean might be, but whatever it is that allows it to move into whatever direction it needs to go in, whether it's up and down or forward or back or whatever it may be. And so each of us have within this thing called life a wonderful way of expressing. And yet we are not limited to what we are as physical beings. In this month's book of the month, this month's book of the month is Oneness by Rasha. And it has been the book of the month before, to the degree that there's at least 2 book clubs within our community that have been with this book since last year when I first made it the book of the month. And so I'm knowing that, it's not a small book in any way. It's dense, and it's filled paragraph by paragraph with such power and such potential awakening. You cannot read one paragraph of this book and not be transformed. But right now I'm referencing something from chapter 20. It says, massive changes taking place within your cellular structure are causing symptoms that many find puzzling under the conditions of profound change taking place in your world. Now we have to know that vibrationally, all that's happening in DC, all that's happening in these different places where we have troops, all that's happening with regard to what's going on with the planet, everything that's happening cannot help but affect us on a cellular level. And so what we also have to recognize is that even within the nucleus of each of our cells, there's still grace. Even in the midst of any kind of troubling, any kind of disturbing, any kind of traumatic receptions that we have to any of the conditions on this plane, are still being fortified by the presence of love. And so even though we feel like in some ways we are being diminished, we're continuing to ascend. It says, there is no reliable frame of reference to draw on for some of what you may experience. For life as you know it has taken a radical divergence from what you have been programmed to expect. Now, because you know this, you're like, what in the world are these people doing? What in the world are these people saying? How is it that someone can be so audacious and reckless with the Constitution, or how is it that they can be so flagrant that they can walk into somebody's house, say that they thought that they were at home, kill somebody, and then get 10 years and 5 years off with probation? And so we're not talking about a punitive God, but we're talking about a mindset that thinks that they don't have to cherish one another. Botham Jean was worthy of respect. Botham Jean was worthy of courtesy. None of us want to entertain a thought that somebody could come into our home and because they're wearing an officer's uniform, take us out of here in the physical way. And yet, there was something in Botham's brother that called forth a need to be forgiving. And even the judge was hugging the officer. I'm going to say that I don't recall the woman's name. I didn't try to put her name to memory. I just know what she did, and then I know that she cried, and I know that when she cried, that meant that, okay, that she needed to be protected. Because that's what we do when we look a certain way and we get a certain kind of pass for our conduct. And so we say, wow, how is that possible that this can happen? And yet, how will 5 years assist anyone with knowing who they are? Well, I'm going to call forth in the stillness and the silence that she is able to have an understanding of who she is as a spiritual being, and that perhaps that will deter others from thinking that this is something that can occur. I think about this show that's been on for 3 seasons apparently called 13 Reasons. And it was only brought to my attention by my agent a few months ago, and you know, it was kind of crazy that we think about, okay, there's a child who's killing herself and she's telling you why. And in the process of this, I'm starting to look at a new culture that we never had to think about when we were growing up. A culture where people are going to school and getting so much bullying going on that they don't want to live, and that people are you know, bringing guns to school, and all of this is happening, and all of this that we saw with the staff not really being attentive to the needs of the student. So all of these things that we didn't experience, you know, I'm not one who stayed out of trouble as a kid, you know. I knew what it meant to be called into the principal's office. It's like somewhere along the way, everybody just started doing whatever they wanted to do. And so we're looking at these things and we're saying, this is weird what we're experiencing right now. And so it's saying you're being presented with conditions of an uncharted territory within the context of your own linear awareness, right? We haven't been this way before. We haven't had to think about, oh my God, are we going to diminish the planet in a way that it will be inhabitable? In all of the years that I've been on this planet, I don't recall it being a crisis before. I mean, we talked about pollution. We get our smog checks. We do what we have to do in order to be in compliance. But the reality of everything ending has not been at the forefront of our awareness. And so it says your concept of reality will have shifted countless times in the course of coming to this place in your unfoldment. And it's not just about your mental place of unfoldment. It's about your spiritual place of unfoldment, which is really what this is about. Because even in the midst of our study, our spiritual practices, we have somehow developed a sense of opposition. Ernest Holmes says, when we know our oneness with God and law, what a great burden is removed. Any sense of opposition is removed from the consciousness which perceives unity. I think there's a drop left that hasn't spilled. We had a lovely time here Friday night. We were celebrating the art of Kevin Lane Miller. And really take a moment to go into Fellowship Hall and enjoy some really special art. You'll see the sacred geometry there. You'll feel the mandalas that she's created. And so we're just having a wonderful time, enjoying each other, seeing old friends, meeting new friends. You know, Kevin and I cleaned up after everybody left. I go out to the parking lot and I see that my passenger back window's been smashed in. And the little one, which is more expensive too. I'm like, oh my God. And Kevin was walking up as I was seeing it. And she and Kevin Scott. And so I'm like, wow. Then I go around on the driver's side and the back little window on the driver's side is broken too. And you know, when I looked through everything and there was nothing missing. There were even groceries in the trunk. I said, well, they weren't hungry. So it was just vandal. And so that hurt me. So if that was the intention, mission accomplished. And so as I went home, it's a real interesting feeling that unfortunately I was familiar with because it happened in March. When I was parked in front of the church. Here I am in the church parking lot. There was 25 people at the art exhibit. And you know there was probably 3 times as much at the beer garden across the street. And I always park in the middle of the parking lot so you could see my car from 41st as well as Telegraph. And so I'm thinking, okay, so this is the boldness of it, right? So now I'm feeling okay, attacked. I'm feeling traumatized. I'm feeling disrespected. And yet I got to thinking about it in contemplating it that I had those feelings even before my windows were burst in. I had a feeling of being attacked. I had a feeling of not being respected. And so and so Spirit says, oh, is this what you really believe? Not that God is vindictive, not that this is some kind of a lesson. People need to get that we're not punished for our sins, we're punished by our sins. And what that means is that our thoughts are things. And that we get to take responsibility for our thoughts. Now that's the part where New Thought people all of a sudden get deaf. Like we didn't hear that part. We didn't hear that part about, except for when it becomes unavoidable, then they stop coming to church. Well, no, I'm not ain't nobody trying to make me change, tell me I got to change because in order to change my life. But that's the kind of power that grace has given us. That's the kind of power that we wield. And so I was, laying there Saturday morning and, I do A Course in Miracles on Saturday mornings online and conference call sometimes. always usually on Facebook or one or the other. But anyway, I had that, and then I had my teacher down the street at 9 o'clock. And then I was supposed to be letting somebody in here at like 8:45, right? So I'm juggling all of that, and I'm thinking about driving my car and not driving my car and all of this. And so I'm being there and being with the trauma of it and saying on social media, I'm trying to figure out what to do, because I already know what it's going to cost, because all I got to do is take what it cost before plus the cost of the window, and so I already know what it is, right? And so I'm just being very vulnerable and transparent and saying this. And then people just started sending me money. So like within 15 minutes, all of a sudden, the cost was covered. Right? And that's grace. But I mean, I knew that people were kind, and you know, like with my parents, like if I messed up once, they'd be like, okay, we'll take care of it. If I messed up twice, they'd be like, look. You know, money don't grow on trees. I said, well, they did it before. And it wasn't a plea for money. It was just, I'm just trying to be with this, because am I safe parking in my church parking lot? It got to that point, right? And so, you know, it's blessed assurance that said love is. And it's blessed assurance that said unity. And the person who sent me the bulk of the money said, we're here to take care of each other. Yes. And so that is our monthly thing. Yes. Cherish the human family. Right? And so saying that is also to say, wow. And part of the song that Sharon and Mark wrote about recognizing my higher self had to do also with charity. Because you know, Facebook, when your birthday comes, they're like, what charity do you want to? And like, well, I could these people and I could. And this is what Libras do anyway. On one hand, I could do this. On another hand, I could do this. Let me see which one I should do. And then there's this, right? A friend of mine told me years ago when I was at USC, you're one of those bright people. You see all the angles and miss the point. Right? So don't think I didn't consider something just because I made a different choice. Right? So here I am at this crossroads, and I open up the course, and I tell people, I've only got time to do one lesson today, right? I've only got time to do one lesson today. And the lesson is, if I am bound, my Father is not free. So I immediately start crying. I'm just like, well, there it is. How can I be bound when God is freedom? I cannot be bound unless I'm saying that God is restricted in some way. That God is not freedom. That's the only way that I can be a prisoner. That's the only way that I can be bound. That's the only way that some kind of effect can keep the essence of who I am from being expressed, or from being realized, or from being activated. And in that awareness, I started to just go back and remember. And in the memory, I found a student sitting in the Roots class some 20 odd years ago. And this student, which was me, had come in my personal study at home to realize with Emma Curtis Hopkins that there is no matter. And I can't physically explain to you how I came to that awareness except through Emma Curtis Hopkins, who was said to be the teacher of teachers, who taught, Ernest Holmes and the Fillmores and different people who started different aspects of New Thought. But I remember thinking one time, because, I was brought up when Psycho came out, right? And I remember being in the shower one time and, you hear a noise. And I said, oh, even if someone was here, they couldn't destroy me. Even if someone came in and took my life, they would not be able to destroy me. Even that means that who I am is not matter. That my body is simply in a costume and not the essence of who I am. And I remembered coming to that awareness. I remembered coming to that truth. I remember sharing it in class, and I can't even tell you who the TA was at that time, but she said, it sounds like you guys have got it. As a response to me explaining what I had experienced. And so, of course, then, this also happened on the weekend when my teacher was in town. Michael Beckwith. And he's down at Agape East Bay. And so we're doing some meditating, and he's talking and all of this, and I start to realize, wow, there's something that occurred, because different people were asking questions, and somebody was talking about drowning or something. And I started remembering as a child when I almost drowned in Lake Michigan. And my aunt jumped in and pulled me out of the water when I had gone down twice already. And I remembered that my cousin who was with me called for help for her. And the way that he left here at the age of about 27 was by drowning. When this happened to me, I was about 6 and he was about 8 or 9. And I thought, oh, I couldn't save him, but he was able to save me because I was in a different state when he drowned, or on my way back to Chicago for a visit at that time. And so I started going deeper into that whole drowning thing and saying, oh, there's a way that I drowned, but that emerged from that is somebody who was really, really determined to live. And that because I had not drowned, perhaps that was only another baptism. Perhaps that was only another way of releasing my attachment to effect and emerging as born again, as someone who was awakened in a different understanding. And I came to realize that there are many times in our lives when we have near-death experiences, but it's not that we're going to be destroyed, but that we are dying to our old self so that our new self may emerge. And so when Reverend Michael was talking about this particular Renaissance time, yesterday I started thinking about, well, before that were the Dark Ages, with people and all of their religiosity destroying other people because they were not in alignment with how they wanted them to show up. And I thought, wow, at the end of that dark period, there was a renaissance when people that are philosophers and artists and all of this kind of new burgeoning occurred. And so I'm thinking that us just simply being able to observe what is going on is a way for us to speed up our own cleansing process. And so as Reverend Michael says, a bad day for the ego is a good day for the soul, right? Right? And so that's been my experience this weekend. You know, I had already been having a wonderful time last weekend at the Center for Spiritual Enlightenment in San Jose. I was their speaker and workshop presenter, but on that Saturday before, I was able to enjoy being on the grounds. And when I say being, that's exactly what I mean. I don't mean doing, I mean being. And so, just for you who haven't been there, say this is the pulpit. Here, at the base of the pulpit, is a tree. A live tree that goes through the roof. Right? Of course I hugged it because, but there was another oak tree that's out right outside because I was staying on the grounds. A tree which is wider than the breadth of my arms. And it would go all the way across one way and across another way. And so as I would walk the labyrinth, and I still want us to restore ours, as I walked the labyrinth, I would be stopped at different points, and I would look up at another aspect of nature, and I would have new insights that perhaps one tree was going this way and another tree was going that way. And it wasn't so much to say, maybe it was, part of it was let me give you room. But what was greater for me to understand was that life will have its way. And if it doesn't happen in this direction, it will happen in another direction. And so what I've been able to really ascertain is that I can really have a pity party and be depressed, and depression is a real thing. I'm not negating that. I can either stay inward and keep to myself my suffering, or I can express what I'm experiencing and be supported by grace. Because transmutation is happening, right? So I even get to say, wow. I started thinking about those times when I could have been more appreciative to people, right? Those times when I could have expressed gratitude more than I did. And I was thinking, wow, just because I was brought up, with critical conversation, about what was lacking or missing, just saying. Doesn't mean that I have to continue to be critical. Doesn't mean that I have to continue to be criticizing of what I don't like. Because if I am truly to be of service, then I need to truly serve by cherishing my family, cherishing all that you are, and cherishing that you have a right to express in any way that you need to, which will absolutely confirm that you cherish life itself. And for any of you who were not here for the Appreciation Day, I did a whole bunch of appreciating, but I'm making up my mind, and I always say thank you and I appreciate it, but I think I need to make sure that you know that, even if you're not here on Appreciation Day. And it doesn't stop within the walls of East Bay. That means everywhere, right? And so that includes looking at homeless people in their face, not avoiding them simply because you don't have money to give. That means really being present with every life that is. And so that is what we can call unity expressing. Not just a concept, not just saying, we're about oneness, but living it and really knowing that even as people were sending me money, we were beginning to pray for whoever did that, for whatever reason that they thought they needed to do that, for whatever pain that they may be in, for whatever mental challenges that they weren't able to express differently. And so what we know is that God is able, and that we are simply the instrument through which it reveals itself. I invite you to allow yourself to let God reveal itself through you as love. Namaste. prayer box comes forward, and thank you, Paris. As the prayer box comes forward, I invite the ministers and practitioners to stand with me as we move into prayer. It may be on the side there, I don't know. Anyway, so I'll see what I can do by memory. If you find it, feel free to bring it up. Let's turn within. Mother, Father God. Mother, Mother, Father, Father. Freedom, love, peace, joy, truth, ever expanding good. Oh, I know that there is simply this life, expressing in a plethora of ways, expressing as me, expressing as those who are on the live stream, expressing as those who are in the room, expressing as those who are watching the recording. Regardless of whether anybody's watching, God is right there. Right in the midst of us is this heart of love. It's not shaped, it's energy. Energy is not restricted by any form, any effect, any expression, any experience. The fullness of this presence of love is everywhere. It's not even limited to this planet. It goes beyond this solar universe. It goes into all of the universe. It goes, it comes, it is. This is the energy that I am aware of keenly as the substance of who I am, as the substance of all that is. Seen, unseen, visible, transitioned into the invisible, every idea, it's in the midst of it all. So this is the presence, and I turn to it now as I think about the wholeness of it all. I think about the wholeness of this magnificence that is even broader than the broadest tree, taller than the highest mountain, deeper than the deepest sea. It is the wholeness that is missing no thing. It is the wholeness that is inclusive of all. No one, regardless of their conduct, is outside of it. It's all part of this one. It's complete. Dis-ease is simply an experience of awakening to more of who we are as spirit. So I speak my word for my beloved friend, Joan Stedman, who is moving through a health challenge, but she's on the right side of recovery now. I surround her with love. I know that she has given me much love over decades, as she has given this community love. And I'm knowing that based on the number of us that prayed her in before her procedure, that there's a great expansion of love moving in her direction even now. I'm knowing that in the midst of any particular concern that anyone is having, that God is. I'm knowing that for anyone who placed anything in the prayer box about sickness or pain, I know it for myself, dealing with pain, that God is right there in the midst of it, awakening me to release the burdenous thought of pain on my shoulder. I'm knowing that God is asking me to move past ever bringing the concept of burden into my awareness. I'm knowing that there is a great, grand, and glorious way that God is revealing to anyone who has a health challenge the truth of who they are, releasing the unwillingness to move forward for what's happening with the legs, releasing any idea that they're not being supported for back challenges, releasing any idea that there's anything lacking in the universe for not enough dollars in the bank account or even having a bank account or under the mattress or wherever it is. I'm knowing that in this infinite field of possibilities that prosperity is. I'm knowing that in the midst of any challenge in a relationship, harmony is, peace is. Conflict occurs so that we can awaken to harmony. Conflict occurs so that we can be at peace with who we are, not needing to fight to prove our point. Peace is the ability to sleep through the night. Peace is right where Kathleen is. Peace is right where anyone who has contacted our prayer ministry is. Peace is right there in the midst of anything and everything that has been of concern. We let it go now. We're freed up because our Mother, Father, God is not bound, neither are we. We're free. We're ready to do that happy dance of absolutely expressing what freedom feels like, what freedom is as our life. I'm knowing a great, grand, and glorious prosperity for this community. $23,000 below our projected budget. There's still prosperity in the midst of us all. So we release any worry, we release any doubt, we release any kind of frustration. We release any sense of not enough people showing up on Sundays. We release the why aren't people coming to church on Sunday? We release the whole old church paradigm. But we know that life is showing up as life needs to show up right here, right now, always. This is God's prerogative as each one of us. So I'm calling it all good because I know it's all God. I'm grateful. I'm truly grateful for the awareness and the awakeness, however it comes to me. God will have its way. For this and so much more, I am grateful. It's in this field of expansive gratitude that I lovingly release this word to law. Law being perfect, it's already done. In the mind of God, it is so. And so it is. Ashe. Amen. Hallelujah. Right. So we're going to take this opportunity to come from a giving place as we move into offertory. I was going to say opportunity. We move into opportunity to give. Let's not just wait for God to shower the blessing on us. Let's be the shower that blesses. Let's be the cleansing energy that lets go of all of the resistance and just let love flow through us. There's no way that you can't be blessed by giving. It's part of the process. God is the source of all of my good. Thank you, ushers. As the ushers are coming forward, I invite our music ministry to give us their offering to support us in knowing our truth.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. From the bottom of my heart to the depths of my soul. Yes, Lord. Really, yes.
Yes. Completely, yes. Whew. Yes, 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 yes. Whew. Yes to the good. Yes to the grace. Yes to the love. Yes to the giving. Yes to the receiver. Yes to the expansion of this consciousness of prosperity. Yes to the expansion of East Bay. Yes to the expansion of the awakening of this planet. Yes to all humankind awakening to their spiritual magnificence. Yes. We bless this activity that gets us primed for being in the flow. We've always been in the flow, but we actively, consciously participate in this oneness, in this flow. In gratitude for the blessings that it does for our properties, our peoples, our practices, for the wonderful way that we get to stand as a beacon of light on this planet. Yes, we give thanks. And so it is. Amen. Ashe. Our children should be coming through right through here, right? Well, maybe they need a cue, Mark.
What's happening, church? Good afternoon. Happy service. And it's Sunday, and we got some things from our amazing children. Let's give it up for the children first. As you see, we have a few things we're going to do out here, and we got some gifts as well for the birthday girl. Yeah, my name is Toussaint Hakeem Stewart. I love this home of East Bay, and it's just a blessing to serve. Whenever I can get to church, I just love being here and being present with the children. Our theme today was oneness, celebrating oneness, and at the same time celebrating your individual, unique role in that oneness, right? And the kids learned a lot of different affirmations around oneness, and they expressed them in art, and we're going to have them also express it in music as well. And yeah, it's really important that our children know that they can bring who they are to the group. They can shine and allow others to shine with them together, right? Very important, right? They don't have to grow up imitating, but they can grow up being inspired to find their voice as well, right? So when they look up to somebody, what they're really realizing is what they're actually doing is they're looking up to something that is deep within them, right? So let's honor our children on that level. So we got Daniel, Gio, Robert, Amanda, and Sterling. And if you guys can read your affirmation and share your artwork, that would be awesome. Okay, you ready?
We are all leaves on the tree of life by Robert.
Okay. Amanda?
We are all drops in one ocean.
And Sterling?
I did the same thing as Robert. We are all leaves on the tree of life.
My godmother did this one. We are all chips in the chocolate of life. Oh, cookie of life. My bad.
Do you remember your affirmation? Daniel also did one. He's going to be a part of our music presentation, but his affirmation and his artwork was, the affirmation was?
We are all cells in the body of God.
Yeah. And then Gio did one too.
Same thing as my brothers.
Can you read it? You say it.
We are all leaves on the tree of God.
God did life. Okay. Now, before we do our musical presentation, we just want to bless Reverend Celeste, Robert's godparents and Gio's godparents brought these amazing flowers. We got an orchid, which is really an amazing, powerful flower. And then we also have these amazing succulents for Reverend C. So, and we also have a card as well, signed by all of our amazing children. And we honor you, Libra. I feel really honored too because my birthday is the day after hers. Yay! 21 all over again. All right. So now we have another display of oneness. And that affirmation was, we are all rhythms in the same jam session. So let's go. All right. So, you ready to start out? You want to start it off, Robert? So listen up, you guys. They don't have no mics, but we're gonna work this out. Okay.
And so let's raise our hands out to our youth. Children, we see you. We hear you. Your beauty and your passion is alive. Your love and your creativity is ablaze. We need you to remind us of who we are. Thank you for being our teachers. Thank you for being the blessings. We bless you with our love. And so it is. Yeah. Thank you so much. I love to see children creating. I forgot to mention someone, but I was reminded when Toussaint was talking about how we admire something in someone else that we idolize. I was about 14 years old, and this rather elegant, classy woman walked up to me and said, "Hi, I'm Diane Carroll." As if I didn't know who she was. She was everything I wanted to be. So we hold her in the light as we stand for our benediction and know that both she and Jesse Norman are lights that have shined magnificently as creative expressions of light and excellence. And that we too are light. We too are excellence. So I just give thanks for this wonderful service that has awakened us to the magnificence of our Creator, and knowing that we have these designer genes expressed through our vigil holders, our pulpit assistant, our musicians, our singers, everyone in service, our greeters, those who are behind the scenes, those who are in our sound booth, those who are revealing to the world what East Bay is through our camera. And so I'm just knowing that everything is part of this unified field of love. I give thanks for it all. As we leave this place, we carry this love with us and we magnify it through our magnificence. Our light shines in the direction from love to love, expanding the awareness of this presence. And so it is. Amen.
Call me, 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 call me when you need. Call me, call me, call me when you need a friend.